Welcome to It's Good to Be Smart. I'm your host, Dr. Dave Mulder. I love to learn new things, and I hope you do too, because it's good to be smart. Today we're going to talk about one man, one pump, one mysterious disease, and how science helped crack the case. Let's rewind the clock to 1854, London, England. The city is crowded, noisy, and honestly, kind of gross. Most people didn't have indoor plumbing, and sewage was often dumped straight into the streets or right into the Thames River. The smell? Awful. But something worse was in the air, or so people thought. That year, a deadly outbreak of cholera was sweeping through a neighborhood called Soho. Within just a few days, more than 100 people living on or near Broad Street had died. The outbreak terrified the city. People didn't know what caused it. Many believed in the miasma theory, which said diseases spread through bad air or foul smells. But one man wasn't so sure. This man, who changed the course of science, was named John Snow. No, not that guy from Game of Thrones. This John Snow was a doctor and a pioneer of what we now call epidemiology, the study of how diseases spread and how to stop them. At the time, cholera was a big mystery. It caused intense diarrhea, vomiting, and dehydration, and it killed fast. Theories were floating around, but no one really knew what caused it or how to prevent it. Snow had a different idea. He didn't think bad air was the problem. He thought it had something to do with contaminated water. But how could he prove it? This is where it gets cool. John Snow started gathering data. He visited homes where people had died of cholera. He made notes. He asked questions. And then he made a map. It wasn't just any map. It showed the locations of all the cholera deaths in Soho. And guess what? Almost all of them were clustered around a single water pump on Broad Street. This was an important discovery, but what Snow did next made things come even clearer into focus. He marked each death with a little bar on the map, sort of like a bar graph, and the picture became clear. The deaths weren't random. They were clearly centered on that pump. People were getting their drinking water from it, and then they were getting sick. Snow brought his findings to the local officials, and eventually they agreed to remove the handle from the Broad Street pump, making it unusable. And soon after, the cholera outbreak stopped. Amazing. This is scientific investigation in action. Now, let's be clear, Snow didn't know about germs yet. This was before scientists understood that bacteria and viruses cause disease. But he figured out a pattern. He looked at data, he mapped it, and he followed the evidence. Later on, scientists discovered that cholera is caused by a particular kind of bacteria called Vibrio cholerae, which spreads through water contaminated with feces. John Snow had been right long before anyone could even see a bacterium under a microscope. Snow's approach was an incredibly important part of the history of science. First of all, his careful data collection method changed everything. He showed that you could study how a disease spreads using data, evidence, and patterns. His work laid the foundation for modern public health and epidemiology. Today, health experts still use mapping and data tracking to understand and fight outbreaks, from the flu to COVID-19. Think about it. During the COVID pandemic, scientists and public health officials used data to track cases, figure out where hotspots were, and understand how the virus was spreading. That's epidemiology. And it all started with John Snow and his cholera map. Snow also helped people think differently about disease. Instead of blaming bad smells or vague ideas, Snow showed that disease often has a specific cause, and if we find that cause, we can stop it. And here's something else. Even though he didn't have high-tech tools or a microscope that could see bacteria, he asked the right questions and looked for evidence. And that's what science is all about, and something you can do too. So the next time you hear about a public health campaign, like hand washing or vaccines or safe drinking water, remember John Snow. Because of his work, millions of lives have been saved, and we have a better understanding of how to protect our communities from disease. I hope John Snow's story helps you see science in a new way, not just as facts and formulas, but as a way to solve real problems and make the world better. Thanks for joining me for this episode, and nice work leveling up your brain power today. Remember, smart isn't something you are, it's something we become as we're learning. So keep listening, keep learning, and keep getting smarter every day. It's Good to Be Smart is created and produced by me, Dr. Dave Mulder, with the support of the National Science Foundation through the Robert Noyce Teacher Scholarship Program. Subscribe to this feed so you'll never miss an episode. And check out our home on the web, goodtobesmart.com. Until next time, keep asking questions, stay curious, and keep learning, because it's good to be smart.